What if I told you that one of the greatest libraries of the ancient world, one that held the secrets of an empire, was buried beneath the ruins of a fallen city for over 2,000 years? What if I told you that this library wasn't the famed Library of Alexandria, but an even older one, built by a king who ruled with both wisdom and bloodshed? For over 2,000 years, it remained buried beneath the ruins of a fallen empire, lost, forgotten, presumed to have turned to dust. But when archaeologists uncovered its remains in the 19th century, they realized something incredible. The very fire that destroyed the empire may have actually preserved the knowledge inside. This is the story of the Library of Ashurbanipal, a treasure trove of history, divination, warfare, and even secrets of the cosmos. A collection so immense that it predates even the Library of Alexandria and could have shaped the course of human civilization. But here's the real question. What was inside this library, and why did the very empire that built it vanish from history? Stick around, because what you're about to hear might just change the way you see ancient history forever. And before we go deeper, take a second to subscribe to the channel, because trust me, this is just the beginning. The library that shouldn't have survived. It was the year 612 BCE. The city of Nineveh, once the most powerful capital in the world, was burning. A massive coalition of Babylonians, Medes, and Persians had finally done the impossible. They breached the walls of the mighty Neo-Assyrian Empire. The streets ran red with blood as the city fell into chaos. The palace of King Ashurbanipal, the most powerful ruler of his time, was reduced to flames. And within those flames, the greatest library of the ancient world was seemingly lost forever. But what the invaders didn't realize was that fire doesn't destroy clay tablets. It bakes them. The flames that should have erased history instead preserved it. The knowledge inscribed onto these thousands of cuneiform tablets remained intact, hidden beneath the ruins of Nineveh for over 2 millennia. Fast forward to the mid-19th century, when British archaeologist Sir Austen Henry Layard and his team, including Hormuzd Rassam, began digging through the ruins of Nineveh in what is today modern-day Iraq. What they uncovered was something beyond their wildest imagination: over 30,000 ancient tablets written in the script of a lost civilization. Imagine the shock, the realization that they were holding in their hands the forgotten knowledge of an empire. And here's where things get even more interesting. This wasn't just any library. It wasn't a collection of scattered records or administrative texts like other libraries in Mesopotamia. This was the first systematically organized library in human history, a place where knowledge was deliberately preserved, categorized, and stored for future generations. But preserved for who? If you find this as mind-blowing as I do, hit that subscribe button, because we're just getting started. What did they find inside? So what exactly did archaeologists find in the ruins of Ashurbanipal's great library? The answer? Everything. This was a time capsule of the ancient world, covering everything from mythology to medicine, history to astronomy, and even something far more mysterious, divination. One of the most famous discoveries was the Epic of Gilgamesh, the oldest surviving great work of literature. And here's the kicker: it contains a great flood story, eerily similar to the biblical account of Noah's Ark. Did the Sumerians, Babylonians, and Hebrews all draw from the same original source? Or was this evidence of a real catastrophic flood in prehistory? Then there's the Enuma Elish, the Babylonian creation myth, a text that tells the story of how the world was created by the gods, with elements that seem to parallel later religious texts. But there's more. Among the tablets, researchers found something unexpected: spy reports. Ashurbanipal didn't just collect literature, he collected classified information. Some of these tablets were early forms of intelligence reports, detailing enemy movements, rebellions, and political conspiracies. The king was essentially running an ancient version of the CIA, keeping track of every potential threat to his empire. And then there were the divination texts. Ashurbanipal was obsessed with omens, dreams, and celestial signs. He believed that by studying these texts, he could predict the future and ensure the survival of his empire. But here's the irony. His empire did not survive. The ruthless king who loved books. Who was the man behind this library? Ashurbanipal wasn't just a bookworm, he was also one of the most brutal kings of the Neo-Assyrian Empire. He sacked Elam, reducing it to ashes. He burned Babylon, drowning his own rebellious brother Shamash-shum-ukin in flames. And yet, here was a man who spent his nights studying ancient texts, poring over clay tablets filled with wisdom from civilizations long before his own. He was obsessed with divination, astrology, history, medicine, and warfare, collecting anything that could give him an edge, whether in ruling his people or crushing his enemies. This was a king who didn't just want power, he wanted knowledge, because he understood something that many rulers before him had failed to grasp. Knowledge was the key to immortality. If he could gather all the wisdom of the past, the secrets of the stars, the prophecies of the gods, the strategies of war, the mysteries of medicine, then perhaps in some way he could live forever. And so he built the greatest library the ancient world had ever seen. A vast collection of over 30,000 tablets, meticulously organized, copied, and stored in the heart of Nineveh. It wasn't just a library, it was a fortress of knowledge, a place where the past would be preserved, even if the empire itself was lost. Yet at the same time, he was a scholar, a man who could read and write in multiple languages, who studied history and science, and who wanted to preserve the knowledge of the past for future generations. And this raises an interesting question. Did his obsession with intellectualism distract him from securing his empire? While he was busy collecting texts and seeking omens, his enemies were growing stronger. And in the end, his greatest creation, the library, outlived his empire. The lost knowledge of an ancient civilization. Here's the most haunting part. Historians believe that the original collection of the library was much larger, potentially double or triple the 30,000 tablets we have today. So how much knowledge was completely erased when Nineveh fell? Were there scientific discoveries lost in the flames? Ancient epics that we'll never read? Entire chapters of human history that vanished forever? And most importantly, what else is still buried beneath the sands of Mesopotamia? The Library of Ashurbanipal is more than just an ancient archive. It's a message from the past, one that reminds us of how fragile knowledge really is. And if history has taught us anything, it's that lost knowledge has a way of resurfacing when we least expect it. So what do you think? Did Ashurbanipal's library influence later civilizations? Could it have held knowledge that was later passed down to cultures like the Greeks and Romans? And more importantly, what secrets are still waiting to be uncovered? Subscribe now if you love diving into ancient mysteries, and let me know in the comments, what do you think was lost in the flames of Nineveh? Because if this library survived against all odds, what else could still be out there?